Okay, hello folks at YouTube. I got some questions from folks asking about what it would take to actually put the transducer onto the kayak in terms of specific directions on how to get this kind of mount built and get it onto the kayak. So what I did here is I kind of mapped out two things for you guys. Basically, what are the basic materials that you're going to need, and then what are the basic steps that you need to take to actually construct the mount for the transducer. So the first thing you're going to need is you're going to need in terms of getting this on, you're going to need to get some basic sheet metal that you can get from Home Depot, right? So this is 28 gauge sheet metal. You can get it from Lowe's or Home Depot. That's obviously going to be the mount for the transducer. So that's the first thing. The next thing you're going to need is when you cut this sheet metal, it's incredibly sharp. I mean, it's razor sharp. So what you're going to want to do is get a grinding bit for a drill bit, and you can see this is made out of a coarse grinder just to smooth off the edges of the sheet metal so they're not razor sharp. So you're going to want to get that. The next thing you're going to want to get is a pair of shears for actually cutting the sheet metal itself, right? These are just a pair of snips that you can use to cut this sheet metal. Cuts it pretty easily. The other major piece of material you want to get when you actually mount, you mount the mount to the transom of the kayak. You're going to want to use lock nuts. Okay, and so lock nuts basically have a plastic insert on the inside. So when you screw these, they're not going to reverse out. They're not going to loosen up. They're going to stay really, really tight. The other thing you're going to want to get is hold on one second. Hold on one second. No. Hold on one second. Anything that you put on, you're going to want to seal up with some marine goop, right? So when you put these nuts on, you're going to want to put some marine goop around the threads, make sure you can seal everything up and make sure it's watertight. So those are the basic materials. The other thing you're going to want to get to paint it green is get yourself a can of Rust-Oleum spray paint, and you can make it look aesthetically pleasing and keeps the rust off there and everything like that. So those are the basic materials. Now, as far as the steps are concerned, the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to figure out what's the pattern for the mount. Okay, so if you look at this, right, pretty basic pattern that you want to follow the shape of the transom, and then obviously the shape of the mount itself, right? So let's see what that would look like on the sheet metal. So what you want to do is basically, obviously you're going to want to measure width and length and stuff like that, but basically you want to draw out your pattern, and for mine it looks something like this. Okay, and then obviously this is gonna be basically, put your transducer on here, right? Put the mount for the transducer on here, right? Just go ahead and trace it out and go ahead and put the holes, draw out the holes. Measure this distance right here. Obviously measure the width right here. And then, kind of make a gross estimate of what you want for the length down at the bottom, because you're going to want to curl this up to have an associated weed guard. You can always cut it short if you need to, so cut it off if it's too long. So go ahead and draw your pattern, right, and measure everything out, and then go ahead and cut it out, right? Now, once you cut out this pattern, right, you're going to want to install the transducer to the mount. Don't install it to the transom. Install this mount to the transducer and make sure that goes well, just like I have here. Okay, and then once you do that, then you're going to want to take the mount with the transducer installed on it, and then go ahead and mount it to the kayak. And the trick with that is you want to leave this to the last step, simply because you want to make sure you get it at the right height on the kayak. The thing I would say is, like, you want this transducer to be in the water, right? So you want it low enough, but you don't want it too low to where you're going to end up banging it you know, anytime the kayak is drug on shore, right? You're going to have your kayak on shore. You don't want to bang this transducer. So the simple way to do this is take your kayak, lay it on the ground, right? And then position this mount, this transducer as low as you can without having it bump the bottom of the ground, right? And that's what I did here. So the trick is, if you can do that, you'll have it low enough but not too low where it's going to end up bumping the ground. So once you do that, once you figure out where exactly this needs to be, then go ahead and mount the entire thing to the transom, right? And just basically mark your holes, drill 2 up here, right? Secure it with the lock nuts, and then secure another nut here underneath here. Secure another nut on the bottom, right? Just maybe 1 nut on the bottom, secure it up with marine goop, and then you'll have some left hanging here. Just go ahead and bend this around, cut off any excess, and then take it out. You know, take it out and, you know, put it in the water, see if it works great. If for whatever reason it doesn't work good, no problem. All you got to do is build a new mount, right? Go ahead and keep your holes, but just go ahead and build a new mount, reinstall it, and then get it right. So that's basically it, you guys, in terms of what you need to do in order to build this mount for your transducer. So just shoot me any questions if you got questions, and good luck with the project.